Okay, Tom, the recording's on. I'm going to send it over to presenter role to you. Let me know when you have it.
Hold on a second. It's downloading. So let me ask the group how many people have a Mac and how many people are on Windows. How can we answer that?
I think you have polling functionality in this, don't you, Michael?
Hang on, let me cancel the transfer. Hang on a second. With this one, no, not with this session I set up here at general session. Who has a Mac on the call?
Susanna does.
I guess we can assume everybody else has Windows.
Womp womp.
I got Windows.
Yeah, so everybody else has Windows. You have one Mac, Tom.
I have a Windows too. It's okay.
All right, I can give it the program so then.
I think you can see my screen now, right?
We can.
So how many people say that? How many people have a Mac and how many have Windows? About most people have Windows. Is that right or not?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes. All right. Man, I should have changed my picture. Look, someone has a picture of a teddy bear. All right. So let's see. So I'm usually, well, I have a lot of computers. I have a Mac, I have Windows, I have Linux, and I have different versions of Linux. So I'm on Windows right now. I usually don't use Windows unless it's for work. But for work, what I have is Linux, and inside Linux I have Windows. So I got this laptop and I installed Windows 10. So I was having I played a little bit with the programs. I installed everything and then I removed everything. So you can see a process from scratch. And, if we run into things, into issues, then, you'll see them like as they are, as you may see them. So there are two things. So I think I sent this on Facebook group, right? Like, the different setup configurations depending on the type of computer that you have. So one is if you're on a Mac, then you are almost like set to go. You don't have to install VirtualBox. And let me see. Okay. Hey, Mike, are you seeing this? I don't know if I'm supposed to allow everybody.
What is it? I can't. What is it doing? Is it asking you to allow people to view?
Allow people.
Yeah, allow everybody. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I would cover, Tom. I would focus on the Windows version since that seems to be the consensus.
All right. So for the Mac, so to finish on the Mac, you only have to install two programs, and I'll show you what those programs are. For Windows, which is what I have right now, the setup is the goal is to install Linux inside Windows, and to install Linux inside Windows, you have to use an interface to get there. So if I don't know if you guys did this already, but there are basically a program to be able to have this interface from Windows to Linux, and this is VirtualBox. So VirtualBox is I don't want to explain too much of the technology behind this because it can become very technical. But if you go to, let's see, VirtualBox. Let's go to the homepage first. So you go to VirtualBox, it looks like this, like a plain website. It's not so pretty, but it's useful enough. And what you want to do here is to go to downloads. And since you're on Windows, you have to click on this one that says Windows Hosts. And when you click that, you'll see that, it's going to go straight to download a file. So I did that already. And then, let me see, what window? So I got this program over here, and I'm going to install it. So this setup is really easy. I mean, there are some options on the program, but you don't have to, customize it. You just go through the process, installing everything next. Leave the defaults next. Leave the defaults next. Proceed, yes. Install, and that's it. Let's see. So finish, and I think you can see it in the background. Switch here. I think we can close. I'll leave it open for now. So this is the program, right? It says Oracle VM VirtualBox Manager, and that's everything that you have to do as far as installing VirtualBox. Okay. The second thing that you have to do is, well, eventually, if you already not installed but downloaded Linux, so Linux, I guess it comes in different versions. They call them distributions or distros. So basically, just to keep it simple, what they did was they took Unix, which is an operating system, and they wanted to launch the open source version of Unix. So different groups took over sort of like these projects to, okay, I want Linux to have this type of structure, and other groups said I want Linux to have this other type of structure. So then there are different groups managing different Linux versions. So if you Google, let's Google this Linux version, and you have different what they call Linux distribution. The most popular is called Ubuntu because it has, it's very simple to use. It looks almost like Windows, and it has a lot of packages that you can install. It has, the version of Word, Excel, Photoshop, video editor. It has a lot of programs that are sort of like the open source alternative for the Windows program. So I have used Ubuntu in the past. Fedora is the open source version of Red Hat that is, mostly used for servers. But Fedora is I guess the personal computer open source Linux distribution. And then there are other Linux distributions that can become, I guess, more niche towards a different segment, I guess. But they can be a little bit more complicated to install depending on your needs, So a lot of people that are usually developers or system administrators, they like, more customization in the Linux distribution. So I have seen people that, they love Arch Linux. Some people like this one, Ubuntu, which is more light. People have used, let's see, I don't know if you watched the show Mr. Robot, which I love the show. Yesterday was the beginning of the third season, and he likes to use one called Kali Linux, which is sort of like the hackers version of for the hacker version of Linux, which has a lot of hacking tools and hacking programs. And so those are the Linux distributions. So right now we're going to focus on Ubuntu. Let me go to the Ubuntu website. So Ubuntu, if you downloaded this, then the one to download is you go to desktop, you go to download Ubuntu. So there are two versions right now. The first version that is 1604, they usually call it LTS, which means long-term support. So it says right there, look. LTS stands for long-term support, which means 5 years of free security and maintenance update guarantee. Okay, but there's another version, which is the latest version with the latest feature, and this one is called Ubuntu 1704. Right now, okay, let's not get confused about this. Let's just go and download this one, Ubuntu 1604. So click download, and this usually goes to this page if you want to contribute something to the open source project. So if not, then you click here, and when you click that, it takes you to download the file. So I did that already. And then let's see. I downloaded this one that says Ubuntu 16.04.3 desktop AMD64. The size of that file is like 1.5 gigabytes. So depending on how fast is your internet, and mine is, it's fast enough. It took me like 20 minutes to download this file. I also downloaded one for Fedora. This one, this one took longer. This one took like 45 minutes. But basically, this is what you need. You need that file to be able to install Linux inside VirtualBox. So I'm going to go through that process right now. And like I mentioned before, I have this already set up, but I removed everything to start from scratch. So let's go to VirtualBox and just click on New. So if I type in Ubuntu, it's sort of like autocomplete the options. So in this case, it says type Linux version Ubuntu 64-bit. But as you follow that, you might see, it's possible that you might see that it says Ubuntu 32-bit. And if it says that, you might need to change something else in your computer. And I can go, I can help you with that later, because that's a little bit more complex. You have to change something in the BIOS, which is something like behind the scenes of your computer. So usually when you start your computer, it goes straight to the operating system. But there's a way to go to another way, sort of like the hardware configuration of your computer, and it's sort of like you are connecting it directly to a motherboard, which has some configurations, and you need to change something in that configuration. But I can help you with that later. So for now, let's just follow this process. Okay, so I typed in Ubuntu. I'm gonna click next. Actually, I did this yesterday, and I thought, man, I'm gonna keep this. And I chose like a really hard password. And then this morning I went to log in and I couldn't remember the password, so I had to delete my installation. So let me see. Let me go to, I think I took some notes. Okay. So let's go back here. Okay, so this step is very important. This step is asking you how much RAM memory do you want to put in this Linux installation. So what's happening is that you are sort of like installing an operating system inside another operating system. And this way of like housing, like having as a guest another operating system, this is called a virtual machine. That's the terminology. So to host this virtual machine, you have to share the same resources. It's the same as you're having a guest in your house. You're sharing the water and the electricity and the food and everything. But then if you don't have enough resources, then the guest, they cannot use the resources, right? So like if you don't have enough food, then the guest is not gonna eat anything. So what happens with the hardware is that right now this laptop has 8 gigabytes of RAM. So to be able to have an operating system that is not slow, you have to give enough resources to the guest to be able to run. So what I'm going to give the guest virtual machine is 4 gigabytes. So for 4 gigabytes, people usually think, okay, 4 gigabytes is 4,000 megabytes. But in reality, the computation, it becomes 4096. So let's put 4096 megabytes here, which is equivalent to 4 gigabytes. So let's click next. I don't know, do you guys have any questions so far? If so, I don't know, I don't think you can raise your hand, but you can just type something in chat. I see someone typing something. Let's see. I had the same issue for everything. Yeah. Hey, Glenn, can you clarify what you're saying there, please? Okay. Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
So just before we started, I had given out a video link that I used when I was installing, and I did not do it this way as a virtual machine. So there are definitely pros and cons to either method, but I think this is the main difference in that once you've booted up with Linux using the method I gave out, then you're not going to be able to boot up with, you're not going to have Windows available till you reboot your machine as Windows instead. And I think your methods, so you have more memory available to you with that method, but yours may be more flexible.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. So there are two ways to install Linux, and is you can have this way, which is like having a guest in your house. You know, you're sharing the same resources, the same food, the same electricity, the same water. Or it's like if you have sort of like what do you call, like a guest house, you know? So the guest doesn't stay with you, but they stay in the guest house and they have their own electricity and their own water and their own food. So the comparison here is that in Linux you can have you can install Linux in the machine, and when you start your computer, you can select either Windows or Linux. Okay. So if you select Linux, then Linux is going to have all of the resources of the computer. It's going to have the 8 gigabytes of memory. It's going to have whatever amount of hard drive you have, and so on. And if you restart the computer again, and then you want to select Windows, then the same. You know, Windows is going to have 8 gigabytes and all of the hardware available. So the main problem with that is that, yeah, like it's not, you cannot jump from Windows to Linux, because it's like you're going to a guest house. So how do you go to a main house? You cannot. I mean, you could walk, you know, but you have to open the door, get out, and go to the other house and knock, and then open and close, you know. But in this one, through VirtualBox, you can. The limitation is that, or I guess the disadvantage is that you're sharing, for example, the RAM. So I'm giving the 4 gigabytes to the guest, and the host is keeping the other 4 gigabytes. So the problem with that is that, for instance, if you are using a lot of RAM, if you are opening a lot of programs, a lot of Chrome tabs, if your computer is, you're trying to do too many things, then you won't be able to run VirtualBox and Linux, because, you know, you are giving away those 4 gigabytes. So, for instance, I have another laptop, which is a ThinkPad, and I have 16 gigabytes on that computer. And I do, you know, the host is Linux, which is a Fedora Linux, and the guest is Windows. So in that case, you know, I usually give I give 8 gigabytes to the Linux virtual machine. So I keep 8 gigabytes on the main machine, on the host, and I give the other 8 gigabytes to the guest. So that way, you know, I can run anything I want, and I can run the virtual machine. I can run, you know, photo editor, video editor. I can have like Chrome with 20 tabs open, and it's gonna work. But in this case, this computer has 8 gigabytes. If I have I don't know, if I'm running LinkedIn and trying to like search up a bunch of stuff with 20 tabs, and I'm running Linux trying to do some crazy program, then the computer is gonna go really slow. So let's continue here. Let me see. You can close this for now. So let's see, hard disk. Create a virtual hard disk now. So let's click on create. Just follow the defaults. This one says hard disk file type. It says VDI VirtualBox disk image. So leave the default. This one says storage on physical hard disk dynamically allocated. Leave the default. Next. So this one is the size of sort of like the size of the hard drive. I think everybody can see a chat, right? If they jump in the chat.
Yes.
So in this one,
sure.
Okay. Excuse me. So then the file location and size. This is the size of the storage drive, the size of your hard drive. So again, you're sharing the resources. So if your hard drive has, I don't remember how much hard drive this has. I think I think it has 256 gigabytes, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm giving away 10 gigabytes to the guest. So I'm losing those 10 gigabytes. But I mean, if your computer is low in storage, if your computer, when you have a lot of files, videos, pictures, music, etc., and you have like 20 gigabytes left of memory, then that's not gonna be so good because you're giving away this space. And so I guess it's important. The hardware requirements are important in this case of trying to install Linux inside Windows. So let's go and do create for now. So it has the settings already. It's telling you, okay, you named it Ubuntu. It has a 64-bit. It has 4 gigabytes. It has all of these resources available. It has whatever, boot order, acceleration, video memory, all of these settings available. But now we need to install Linux. So like I showed you before, let me see. I think I have this in downloads. And I want to install this one, Ubuntu 16.04 64-bit. So then what you need to do is click on Start. And I hope this works. Otherwise, that will be messed up. Okay, so it says right here, select Startup Disk. And it's telling me, okay, which one is the file that you want to open. So in here is like, I don't know if you have experience installing an operating system like from scratch, but I don't know. Usually when I used to install Windows, when I used to work on Windows servers, it used to come with a CD, right? You put in the CD and then load it like inside the hardware, inside a box from scratch, and then you follow the steps. So usually the computer is asking, okay, what is the file that you want to install? So in this one, you have to go and choose the directory, right? Because it may say empty, it might say something. It might try to like scan your downloads file to see if there's what it's called an image file, and the image usually ends with a .iso, and it might try to load that, but that might not be a right file. So I'm going to click on this one that says choose a virtual optical disk file. So I'm going to click on this, like it looks like a folder. So I'm going to download, and I'm going to select this one that says Ubuntu 64, AMD 64 open. And I'm going to click on Start. And I'm just praying that this works. Okay, so let's see. View, adjust window size. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think Trish, she asked something that. Let me see. Sorry. Let me see what you asked.
Hey, Tom, mine says that
yeah.
you have the auto capture keyboard turned on. Do we want to leave that turned on to capture the keyboard?
On your computer, you saying that?
Yeah, it says you have the auto capture keyboard option turned on. This will cause the virtual machine to automatically capture the keyboard.
Yeah, that's fine. If it's asking you to select OK, or just close the window.
I can either close it or leave it up.
I think I don't know. If you can click yes, then that's fine. Yes, OK. If it doesn't give you the options, you can just close that window.
Okay.
So I think you can still see my screen, right? So I loaded, I think you can see from the icon. I don't know if you're, when I used to be, I'm not that young, but I'm not that old, but when I used to install an operating system, like I told you, it used to come in a CD, like this icon right here. So this one says, try Ubuntu or install Ubuntu. So I want to go ahead and install. So before I do that, let me just go back to the chat really quickly. So if you have if it doesn't load, if it says something like it might say something like virtual machine not identified or not available, or VTX not available, or an error code. you might need to change something in the hardware in your computer, and I can help you how to do that later. But basically, you have to, like I mentioned before, you have to restart your computer. You have to go into the BIOS settings, like the hardware settings of your computer, and you have to change something. There's a menu that says virtualization, and there's something that you have to enable to be able to run this. And when you do that, and you restart your computer again, and you go through this process, when you try to load Ubuntu, then it would be able to say, you will be able to load the file into VirtualBox. And something similar is going to happen. Well, actually, Glenn, when you install Linux in parallel to Windows in the same machine, did you have to do any special configuration outside of the normal? Like, did you have to go into the BIOS settings or not?
No, I was using a helper app that took me through all this stuff like a wizard, and it was pretty straightforward.
Okay. Yeah, because I have done that in another laptop, like trying to install Linux in parallel to Windows, and so I ran Linux fine, but when I restarted and I tried to load Windows, it wouldn't let me run Windows. So there's something in like the configuration of the settings of the hardware to be able to run them in parallel. So what I'm saying is that you might run into issues on a case by case. It's not like a, how do you call that, like a recipe that applies to everybody. But depending on your configuration, depending on your hardware, you're gonna find different issues, and but later on, I might be able to help you resolve those issues. So in this one says preparing to install Ubuntu. So I'm gonna click on these two check marks. Continue. This is gonna just take a little while, perhaps like 5 to 10 minutes, to complete this process. So this one says erase disk and install Ubuntu. So keep in mind that you are not erasing the disk of your Windows computer. Remember that you gave, in this case, I gave 10 gigabytes to the guest. The guest is Ubuntu right now. And I gave them, go and use these 10 gigabytes and use them for whatever you want. Okay? So right now it's gonna take those 10 gigabytes and erase whatever it had and install Ubuntu there.
And you'll know this is correct by looking at the top where it says Ubuntu running Oracle VM VirtualBox. If it doesn't have your VirtualBox up there, then you didn't do something correct.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, make sure that you are in the right place, because it's possible that you try to install Linux in the whole computer and not through VirtualBox. I mean, you don't want to erase the disk of your Windows. That would be really messed up. Yeah, that's correct. So Glenn is saying here that when you are doing dual boot, that's the terminology, dual boot. So dual boot means like being able to boot to load your operating system, either Linux or Windows. So dual boots too, right? But you can have as many operating systems as you want. You can have Linux, you can have Windows. You can have Mac, although it's not a Mac computer, but you could do that too. And yeah, so when you restart your computer and you have this dual boot configuration of sort of like Linux in parallel to Windows, like the same host, and you have a menu, and then you have to select which operating system you want to run. Otherwise, it's going to run the first one. If you don't click on the arrows up and down, then you'll just select the default one and it'll open up. So in the case this computer, the one I'm running right now, I have dual boot as well. So when I start my laptop, the first option is Linux. If I want to run Windows, then I have to click the arrow down to the last one to be able to, and click enter to be able to open Windows. Let's go to continue here. Let's see, it's thinking, so it's installing. I'm in Miami, so I'm in East Coast. Let's see. Okay, I remember I went through this because I couldn't see the rest of the screen. Just move this a little bit. Continue. Okay, this is the part that I have to remember because I did this last night, and then I forgot what my password was, and I just couldn't log in again. So I'm going to type in your name, computer's name, and I'm gonna put. Well, let me see. I'm going to put. I'm gonna put as password. I'm gonna put Tom. If I forget, then you guys know what my password is. Tom. Okay, so let's see. Tom-VB, Tom. Require my password to log in. Yes, continue. Now it's just gonna show like some intro screens of features of Ubuntu. I mean, right now it's copying the files. You want to read this over, that's fine. So you can click here and read. Okay, it has this stuff, how to install programs, how to do music. So for example, the music application that I usually is called this one, VirtualBox Music Player, and it's for music, not exactly the music that I bought, but Python script. Download music from somewhere. Let's see next. Okay, photos. What else? I think by default it has Firefox. What is this? This is OpenOffice, right? LibreOffice. So this is like the open source. Excuse me, the open source version of Windows, which this is what I use. I mostly use this one, these three, Writer, Calc, and Impress, which is like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Let's see. You can customize it to whatever you want, and you just have to wait right now. Yeah, exactly. So like the VirtualBox. What do you say here? Yeah, VirtualBox is like a laptop in your laptop, sort of like Inception. I don't know if you have seen that movie, Inception. So while this is running, is anybody that was able to go up to this step? Anybody that was able to load Ubuntu into VirtualBox or not?
Yeah, this is Jason. Or I'm at least the same spot you are.
Okay, cool. Okay. Yes. Nidhi. Yes. Danny. No. Danny, what happened? Okay. Come on. Just a little bit patient. Okay, so while this is running, let me show you something else. Let me see, look at my notes here. Okay. Okay, so this is something that completely changed the way I work, okay? about 6 years ago or 7 years ago, I forgot. I used to type with the fingers, like my two index fingers. So I used to look at the keyboard, type with two fingers, and then look at the screen and look back down and look at the screen. And then, I realized that was, it was slowing me down, and I used to make a lot of mistakes because, when you're looking at the keyboard and you're not looking at the screen, you can make typos, and then you have to all the time backspace and delete what you did. So someone recommended that I learn how to do touch typing, which touch typing means to type with 8 fingers. So you Google that. Let me see. Is that the right touch type? Touch type. Oh, look, there's even a Wikipedia about that. So this one says, let's see. Touch typing is 8 fingers on the keyboard. This is very important. ASDF, left hand, JKL, semicolon, right hand. Okay? So how do you even learn how to do that? Because, it's easy to say it. So there's a game that I use to learn touch typing, and the game is called C-Type Game, which is sort of like I don't know. I didn't grow up in the U.S., so I don't know what this is called in English. It's like I don't know if it's called Martians. Like, I'll show you. Let me see if it works on this computer. So the words start coming down, and you type in the words. But like to be able to do it really fast, you have to learn the keyboard. So initially, what I did was I had to memorize the home row. The home row is the middle of the row. The ASDF on the left hand, JKL semicolon on the right hand. So as you keep playing this game, you will be able to learn that the home row. And of course, the game starts to go really fast, or you go to advanced mode. There are very long words that you have to be able to type really fast. So that's the best way that you can learn this touch typing. So touch typing, most of the programmers, they know touch typing, and they type. Their eyes are looking directly into a screen. They never look at the keyboard, and you will never, you will never make a mistake. It's really hard to make a typo like that. Let's see, almost done. What is it, Glenn? Can you explain that, please, while this finishes running?
Yeah. So every time I boot up in a different operating system, so after being in Linux for the day, then the next day I'm in Windows, the time clock is 4 hours ahead of where it should be, and I have to go fix the time.
I wondered if you can go to the BIOS settings and see if maybe the clock in your computer in the hardware is set to the right time. Because I don't know why you should, if you have this dual boot configuration and you are opening Linux and you change the time, that should be a time. I don't think you should change, right?
I never change the time unless I see it's showing wrong, which is well, I'll take that up with you separately.
Yeah. Let's see, almost there. So the same process, a similar process you can use with Fedora. I used Ubuntu for a long time, for the longest time, and then I wanted to have, I don't know. I guess my goal was, hey, when I meet someone that works for Red Hat, maybe I can say, hey, I use Fedora. So I don't know. That was like that's it. That was like my decision point of going to Fedora, and then I installed it, and it's a similar process, although like the commands that you type into the terminal that I'm going to show you in a little bit, the commands are a tiny bit different, but pretty much is the same experience. I also have used other Linux distributions. I used the one from Mr. Robot because I was very curious, which is Kali Linux. Let me see. I probably going to take like 1 more minute. So let me look at that. I close the browser. If I can open the browser again. Kali Linux. It says right here, Kali Linux penetration testing and ethical hacking Linux distribution. Because this is the Linux distribution that they use, that uses, right? And I think you can identify this logo, which looks like a dragon, because every time he's into a computer, like doing this hacking thing, they always show this, and people were very curious. Oh man, why is that guy using? I want to use the same. But then, of course, you need to have, a little bit of, what did they call this in here? Ethical hacking, right? So a little bit responsible on the tools that you use because it comes with a lot of programs, a lot of Python programs that are very, of course, they're very hacking oriented, and if you use it wrong, I mean, you can get in trouble. Let me see. Are you done? Yeah, almost done. Come on. Okay, let's start reviewing something else. You know what? Did you guys download Sublime, which is the text editor? Sublime.
I've got version 3, but I noticed when you had the option to upgrade, you didn't do it. Is there a reason you're still on 2?
Oh, I got lazy. That was the main reason. I had, I don't know. Yeah, I have to do that. I mean, I don't know. I just got lazy. Let's see. Sublime Text. So sublimetext.com, download for Windows, Sublime Text 3. Yeah, I used to have the version number 2. I used version 3. I don't know. I don't see any changes, like any really different changes. So this editor is let's see. How many of you are hiring programmers? Anybody that hire programmers?
All of us.
All of us. All of you hire programmers? Oh, okay.
I am.
That's good. So like programmers, they have their tools, right, to write code. So usually they have an IDE, right? I even forget what IDE stands for. Anybody knows what an IDE is? A code editor, right? So a code editor, if usually people that program in Java, which is not my favorite language, but whatever. So people that program in Java, they use a tool to write Java code, and it's like it's an application. You open an application, you're able to write code, you're able to run the code to see if it compiles and do different tests. So it's like a whole program. For example, this one, Visual Studio, right? So Visual Studio is an IDE, but as you can imagine, something like, for example, when you open Photoshop, right? I don't know if you have used Photoshop before. Okay, I don't know where's one word. If you have used Photoshop before, it opens Photoshop. The Photoshop program is very memory intensive, so it loads. When you download it, it could be gigabytes. And then you install it, and it has all of these processes. And you open a picture, and you start editing a lot of things in the picture. Or if you load 10 or 20 pictures, and it takes a lot of RAM memory just to do something. So that something similar happened with programming, right? So then you need to have a computer with a lot of memory to be able to run the code, compile it, and do all of these things. But some other programmers, they prefer just a text editor. So a text editor just like Notepad. The Windows version of Notepad, right? So Notepad is just a text editor. There's nothing magic about it. It's just a text editor, and that's it. You save the file, and then you go to the interface to the terminal to be able to run this file. So something happens. This is why Sublime has been very popular. So Sublime is just a text editor. It has a folder structure that you can open right here on the left. It has, this screen, this black screen where you can type in the code. And it has these, what it looks like a giant, like a zoomed out feature, So it shows all of the line, pretty much. It shows all the file, and you can click on anywhere in that column, and it'll take you to that part of the code. So if you downloaded that, then let's see. Are we almost done? Look, finally, to start now. So I downloaded Sublime into Windows, and I downloaded, what else? Okay, do your thing. Download Sublime, and, well, I don't think I downloaded it here. Let's see if it wants. I can download it inside Linux. Let's see. Sublime. So something, okay, what did I put for password? Do you guys remember what I put for password?
Tom.
Oh man, thank you. All right. Maybe I can close something here because I feel my computer feeling really warm right now. Let's see, view. Okay, there's something else that I have to install here. So I want to create some sort of like a virtual bridge between Windows and Linux. So when I, for example, if I want to download a file inside Windows, I want to send it to Linux, you know. So, I mean, you would think, okay, you send it to my email and open Linux and download it from my email. I mean, that's what I initially did when I didn't know anything about Linux. But I thought, man, that's really like, that doesn't make any sense. So there's a way to create this bridge, and it's sharing a folder. So you create a folder in Windows, and then you set it up in VirtualBox. So you can see that folder inside Linux as well. So if you're in this menu right here, usually you go here and click on devices, and it has this option called Insert Guest Addition CD Image. So let's click on that. It says right here, VBox additions contain software intended to be automatically started. Would you like to run it? Okay, so this is asking me for a password. Authenticate. And it's going to install something. Let's see. Shouldn't take too long. So if you're not familiar with the terminal, so the interface to talk to a computer in this case, I'm going to open the window up. I'm going to make it bigger in a little bit. But usually when you are in Linux and you want to talk to a computer, you use the interface, which is called the terminal. In Windows, it's called the prompt, which is similar, but it uses some different commands, but sort of like Unix commands, but in a different way. Let me see if I can type in that. Using command prompt. Is that right? Is return to close this window. Okay. So I need to configure something in the virtual machine, which is the Linux guest. But to be able to do that, I need to turn off the Linux guest. So I need to turn off like this laptop inside the laptop to be able to change the configuration on the virtual machine. So I'm going to show you. I need to shut this down for now. Shut down. I need to go to the settings. Let's see, I'm going to open this settings. So you can either right click and go to settings or just click settings here. And then go to share folders. And in share folders, there's an icon that says add new share folder. And then folder paths, which is, where do you want to save this folder? So let me click on other. So I remember what I put this. So documents, I think it looks like I created a folder already. But let me see what I have there. I don't think I have anything. Okay, so let me do that. So what I did before I created that folder was I went to documents and I just created a new folder and I called it Win10-Ubuntu. Because if I want to install, for example, Fedora, then I want to create a folder called Win10 Fedora, and I don't want to get confused by saying Win10 Linux and which one is which. Select folder. and then it changes the name, folder name, Win 10 Ubuntu with the folder that you selected. You have to click here, Auto Mount, click OK. Click OK again. And now, I just created a folder to share with Linux. So, so a folder is here. And, by the way, in Linux, they don't call them folders, they call them directories. So, it's cooler, I think. Okay, so start Linux again. Close this. So let me see if I can make this bigger. I think I can go to scale mode. I think this is what you saw before. Switch. Let's see. Maybe I don't want to make it so big. Maybe like this. So I can see my window screen. Let's see. Okay. Password, done. Release. Just wait a little bit. Something else that I have done is I had a laptop that only had 4 gigabytes, and it was like a really cheap laptop. I bought it for like $100, and I thought I don't want to put Windows there. I just install Linux straight up. But like having this Ubuntu distribution with all of these bars with these big icons, it adds. It takes more memory, more RAM memory, and I didn't want to, I wanted something that was very light, so I installed another Linux distribution, which is mostly used for computers that have very low RAM memory. So like you can customize your Linux distribution to anything you want. If you don't want to have this bar here and have a lighter interface, then you can install that, right? But it's a little bit more technical. Okay, so we are here right now. And the next thing that I want to do is, okay, let me see. I created a folder. Directory. And let me see. Where could that be? I think it's this one. It's up there. Let me see. I don't know if it's working, but let me see. Let me put something there. Can I put there? Oh, let me create a file. Hola. Save it into here. Hola.md. Save. Close this one. I'm going this one. I don't know. Well, that's a good something that I have to troubleshoot. You don't have permission to view the contents? Okay. Okay, I'll figure it out later again, because right now I don't remember why it's not allowing me to view this directory. But let me see. The next thing I wanted to do was install Sublime. So I'm going to open Firefox inside Linux and go to Sublime and install Sublime. If I can do it fast. Let's see. Sublime text. Install for Linux. Click here. Close this. This one. Okay, so it looks like I have to follow some procedures to install Sublime.
Which one did you pick, Tom?
Which one did I pick? I picked the one that says APT Ubuntu.
Okay.
So Okay, so now that this is what you have to get used to the terminal. Okay, so before we do this, let's go to the terminal and learn some Linux basic commands, because I usually go by don't copy paste something that you don't understand, because that can lead to undesired side effects. You can, I can copy this right now and paste it into a terminal. I mean, it might do something, it might not do something, it might show me an error, and I have no idea why if I don't understand what wget is. So let me open the terminal. Type in terminal. Okay, so this is that black screen. Make this a little bit bigger. And I think I can zoom. I don't know if you can see it, but let me see if I can zoom in. Control plus. Oh, okay. I don't know. Do you guys see it really, really small, or can you see it okay?
No, it's big. It's fine.
Okay. So let's see. Very basic commands in Linux. So how to navigate within directories, how to create files, how to list files. So I guess that the most basic command is ls. If you type in enter, it will show you the list. ls means list, and it shows you the content of the current directory. Okay, so it shows me I have desktop documents, downloads, different things. Okay, so it's ls. To learn more about how to use ls, because ls can come with options. So for example, when I type in ls-l, it shows me directories, but in a different way. In this case, it shows me more information. It has these letters. It says drwxr-xr-x, a number. It has my name twice. It has these for 1996. It has a date, and so on. Okay, but you want to know. Okay, but how do I use that option? Can I use more options? Because you can type ls-a-a, and you see it's like a different, similar results, but in a different way. Now I type ls compared to ls. Let's type clear. ls compared to ls-a. It's different, because in this case ls-a, which means all, is showing me all of these files that start with a period. Okay, and these are files that are going to be useful later on. So to learn more information about a command, you can go to what is called the man page. man. So you type in man followed by the command. So for example, man ls, and that's going to show me this. Okay, which is the manual. Sort of like, okay, these are the instructions on how to use this command. To be able to go up and down, because you're not using the mouse, you won't be able to use the mouse to scroll up and down. You have to use the arrows up and down. So I'm going down right now, or I'm going up. Okay, but I don't really use the arrows. What I do is what is called I call it the Vim version. The Vim version is that there's another text editor that is used by, I guess, super geeks, programmers. And let me see, I open Chrome again. And this text editor, you cannot use the mouse. Okay, you can only use the keyboard to scroll up, to scroll down, to edit, to add, to do anything. Okay, and this text editor is called Vim. So I'm going to show you the homepage right now. So yeah, the website looks like it has not been updated in like 20 years. It looks like a GeoCities website. I don't know if you know what that means, but it's like a very old style type of website. And it doesn't even know, okay, like what do you even download? It's okay, download here, etc. But the way that Vim works is, let's see, let me look at some images. Yeah, so it looks like this. It looks like another black screen, but it doesn't look like it has like options, like an application. You cannot, there's no file, save as, anything like that. So how do you open it? How do you edit a file? How do you save a file? I mean, it's not so straightforward, and Vim has a big learning curve. But something that is important in the way that Linux works is that to be able to scroll up and down when you use Vim, you have to use the home row. That's why I mentioned before that you need to know touch typing, and you need to know the home row, and you need to know, your right hand, your fingers, they go on these keys, J, K, L, and semicolon. And this is why if you go into your keyboard and this is going to see, you're going to see this on every keyboard, like every keyboard. You'll see that the keys F and the keys J, they have this like a little dent on the key, like a like a little shape on the key. So when you touch it, it has like a little line, and that's because sort of like it helps you find the home row on your keyboard. But to go up and down using this Vim editor, you have to use the right hand. Usually, I think it's JK. I forgot. But you need to use the keyboard to go up and down. You need to use the keyboard to go left and right, to go into a file, to edit it, and so on. So let me go back in here into the man page of LS. So what I mean is that, look, right now I'm not using the arrows, right? I'm not using the arrows. I'm using the letter J to go down. I'm using the letter K to go up, okay? So if you're here and when you do that, you realize, oh, wow, like, why is that, how is that like that? And that's the Linux way, okay? So, okay, you're done with this file. Of course, this document doesn't look so pretty. It's not like, HTML, CSS kind of file. But, it has all of the information required for you to learn that command. Okay, so we're going to get out of this page. So I type in Q, so I'm out. So as the command ls, okay? Another command that is very important is changing directories. Changing directories means I'm not going to call it folder anymore. I'm going to call it directory. I want to go into the directory documents, okay? So to change directory, I need to use the command called cd, which means change directory, okay? That's cd, the letter C and the letter D. So if I type in man cd to see, okay, show me the instructions on how to use this command. Okay, whatever. So anyways, let's see. Let's change directory. Let's just use it. I don't know why there's no man page for that. Let's go to, I think I have documents. Okay. So something else that perhaps you have to learn is autocomplete. Okay. This is very important, and this will save you a lot of time. Let me go back to list the contents of the directory. So for example, when you hit tab, it autocompletes the sentence, So for example, if I type in CD and I type in D and I hit tab, well, it's not going to do anything right now. But if I hit tab twice, it's going to show me everything that starts with a D, okay? So if I type in O and I hit one tab once, it doesn't show me the exact result because there are two directories that start with a DO. So if I type in tab twice, it's showing me, okay, documents or downloads. Okay, type in C for documents, and I type tab, and it autocompletes the whole directory or file. So that's something that is very helpful that will save you a lot of time. So clear the screen, so type in clear. So, okay, let me see, ls, go to the documents directory. So I'm going to type in C doc and hit tab, and I'm there, okay? So I'm in the documents directory, and let me see what's in here, nothing. Because I type in ls. Let me type in ls-l. There's nothing there. ls-a, nothing there. Okay, it shows me. Okay, don't worry about this right now. It's showing me a period and two periods. What I want to do right now is create a file. Okay, I want to create a text file, but I don't want to open it. Okay? So I'm going to use a command called touch. So let's read what the man page says about touch. Touch says touch change file timestamps, okay? Okay, so one thing about these instructions is that whoever wrote these instructions, they wrote it in the most geek way possible, okay? Like why would you call it like that? Change file timestamps, that makes no sense. Why won't you just call it command to create files? That's it. Why won't you just do that? So it has all of these options, -A, -C, etc., and so on, that you can read later. So for now, let me quit this file. So to use this command, you use touch followed by the name of the file. So let's say let's call it awesome.txt. That's it, and you hit enter. You'll see that nothing happens. It doesn't tell you, hey, congrats, you created a file. It doesn't show anything. So usually when there's an error, it will show you an error. But often when it works, it doesn't do anything. It's sort of like, it's kind of weird, right? It should say something when it works. When it works, it should say, yay, it works, but it doesn't. So now I'm going to type in ls again, and you'll see, okay, I have a new file there. If I go to the directory of documents, you see a file, it's created there called awesome.txt. So let me, close this. Okay, so touch awesome.txt ls. Okay, I have that. Now I want to edit that file. So to edit that file, I can use the text editor called Vim, but I don't think it's installed. Let me see. If I type in Vim and I type in awesome.txt, yeah, it's telling me this program is not installed. So to install a program, let's see, how can I explain this? So this Linux distribution, whatever the Linux distribution, in this case Ubuntu comes with like with software, or it comes with sources with let's call it, it comes with sources where to download the software. Okay, so these sources are URLs. These URLs are already somewhere configured in the system. So when I try to search for something like Vim, it goes to a URL and it goes to, let's say that it opens that website and it searches for the program and it says, okay, yes, this program is here, you can download it. Okay, and that's what I'm going to do right now. I want to install Vim, but before installing Vim, and probably you have seen this in Windows, when you try to install something in Windows, I think it says, there's a pop-up that says, are you sure that you want to install this? Yes or no? And you would click yes. You would type in yes. I think that in Windows 7, I don't remember. If you ever use Windows 7 or Windows Vista, even worse, I think it used to have a pop-up and it would ask you, are you sure you want to install this program? Log in with your admin user and password. And you will be like, oh my God, I don't remember my admin password. And then you had to enter your admin password, or otherwise they wouldn't let you install. And this happens also like with corporate computers. I have a corporate computer. I tried to install something and I wanted to install, I don't know, Firefox. And it said, enter your administrator password. I cannot do that, So something similar happened in Linux. In Linux, you have sort of like the admin user and you have your user. So right now, my user is Tom, but the admin user is called root, like ROOT, okay? That's the admin user. You never use the root user because you can, if you enter a command in a way that, if you enter a command that you don't know what it is, and you use the root user, you can really mess up your operating system, okay? But right now, what I want to do is like, to install a program, I want to ask root, hey, root, can you like give me permission to install a program? But to be able to do that, I have to use a command called sudo, okay? So let's see if there's a man page for sudo, man sudo. Look, sudo says right here, execute a command as another user, okay? And it has all of these geek detail information, blah, whatever. So, okay, Q. So what I want to do right now is I want to install Vim. Okay, so to do that, the command is sudo, which means, okay, hey, root, give me access to install a program. And then there's this, let's just call it like install instruction called app install, and I enter the name of the program. Let's see if this works. What's the password for Tom? Tom. Do you want to continue? Yes. You see, so it's like it's trying to download this program from somewhere. Progress. Okay, it's doing your thing. See if it's faster. Almost there.
Can I ask while you're doing that, how did you remove all of the text that the manual was displaying so you were back to the previous line?
How did I get out of that window?
It's as if you instantly erased all of the stuff.
You said Q to quit.
Yeah, I
just hit Q.
Just hit the letter, the key Q. Right?
Okay.
You see, it's right there under this highlighted line. It says manual page sudo 8 line 1. Press H for help or Q to quit. So if I type in H, which I don't think I have done in a long time, it's like it's showing you more information. And it says right here, press return for more or Q when done. So I type in Q, goes back to the previous window, and this one says Q again. Okay, Q again, and I get out. Okay. So this one, okay. So I'm showing you how to install this text editor called Vim, which I told you before. It has a steep learning curve, but it will really help you to understand the way that Linux works, because that program doesn't have like this interface of file save as. You cannot use the mouse. It forces you to use the keyboard, and to use the keyboard you have to learn the home row. You have to learn, different things on how to navigate using Vim. Okay, but it will help you a lot. Okay, so let me see. I had type in ls again, and I was trying to open it. I was trying to open this file using Vim. So I'm going to type Vim again, and I'm going to type the name of the file, but in reality, I'm not typing anything. I'm just going to type A and hit the tab, and it will auto-complete everything. So Vim awesome text, that's it. So it opened the file, but the file doesn't have anything because, I didn't put anything in the file. So this Vim editor has like a way of editing and a way of viewing the file. The best way that I explain it is like email. You get an email, and the email that you get, like Glenn or whoever, you send me an email. I can read the email, but I cannot edit your email. I cannot edit what you wrote. The only way for me to add a text is hit reply, and then I can type in whatever I want. Okay. So Vim behaves in a similar way. Initially, as when you open the text editor, it is opening what is called a reading mode. So reading mode is that I can only read the file, but if I want to edit the file, then I have to go into what is called insert mode. And to go into insert mode, I just have to type in the letter I. Okay. So if I type in the letter I, now under the window it says insert. That means that I can type whatever I want. Okay. So let me just do an example right now. So let me just create a CSV file really quickly here. And I'm going to put, let's see, first, last, email, city. I'm going to put here Homer Simpson, Homer at Springfield. And then city, Springfield. And I need to put another one. Elon Musk, Elon at Tesla.com. And I don't know where he lives, like in Reno or something. Done. So what did I do in here? To be able to, I open the file, to be able to type in anything, you have to type in the letter I. And because it says insert, okay? And here you can type anything you want. To get out of insert mode and go back to reading mode, you have to type in the letter escape. You have to type in the key escape. So when you type in the key escape, the insert, it changes. It doesn't say insert anymore. So if you try to type something, it won't let you type anything. Like right now, I'm typing the letter J and it's not doing anything. Okay. If I want to back to writing, type in the letter I. Go back to insert mode. Now you can write whatever you want or delete. Okay. Type in escape again. So in navigation, you see, right now I am moving to the left, but I'm not using the mouse. I'm using the keyboard. Okay. Because in the keyboard, K is going up, J is going down, H is going left, and L is going right. Okay. So something else that you can use, of course, you can use Sublime. Okay. So Sublime, but I don't have it installed in Linux right now, but that's what I was using here. Let me see, what is it? And yeah, this is straightforward. This is a text editor, and you can customize it so it shows, like in colors, style, depending on the script. If you're using Python or HTML or CSS or Ruby or whatever you want, the colors change depending on if you use a function or a variable or anything, it has different colors for all of these things. But I use Sublime a lot to write content, to write text files, but also to clean data. So to clean data, for example, is let me stay in Windows for a little bit, so I can give you an example. Let me go back in here. Let me look at the source code of this file. View page source, and let me just copy everything from here and open it here. Okay, so you see, like, this is HTML, right? HTML is changing the different tags to different colors, and so it's it has better, it's easier to read. So something very, very important about Linux and for programming later on when you learn more is something that is called regular expressions. I'm going to type it here. Regular expressions. So regular expression, it says right here. Regular expression is a special text string for describing a search pattern. That's it. I mean, I think that's the best explanation, A special text string for describing a search pattern. The best way that you can learn this regular expression is, let me see, I think, is it this website? No. Regular expressions by, it's this one right here, regex1. So the website is regex1.com, and this is very interactive. This is the best way to learn regular expressions, okay? So let me type in the example. This one says, matching the character. So it says type your pattern, okay? So I'm going to start typing something. It says, it has to match all of the lines. So if I type in A, it matches A, B, C, okay? It matches, well, it's not matching the rest of the characters, you see? But what I'm doing right now is that, following the definition, which was you enter a text that matches the pattern. What is the pattern right now? What is common of all of these lines? A, B, C, okay? So, okay, I can continue now because it matches everything. Okay, so I can continue. So it keeps adding more information. For example, in this one says, in this case, the character \D can be used in place of any digit from 0 to 9. So you're adding these special characters to find patterns in data, okay? And the special character in particular is called \D, which means any digit from 0 to 9, okay? So in this case, let me see, what is the... okay. What is common between all of these characters? 1, 2, and 3. So if I type in \D, it's showing me, okay, yeah, it found a character that is 1, 2, and 3. But if I type in /D, okay? So it's saying, in this text, find all of the characters that match this pattern. And the pattern is \D, okay? We can go over this later on, because this can become very complex as it goes on. But basically, I use these regular expressions to find patterns in data and clean data. Let's see. Are you guys super confused?
Were you going to install Sublime?
Sorry, what is it?
Were you going to install Sublime next, or I think you were...
Yeah. So let me see. Sublime. So I'm back in the Sublime. I think, how much time do we have? I think we have like 5 minutes now. So for now, I need to install Sublime inside Linux. So this one it says install the GPG key, which is sort of like the security certificate to make sure that you are downloading this from the right source. So like I mentioned before, I installed this program called Vim, but how does Linux know that Vim, what is this program? So it has a source file, it has a source URL, and it said, okay, go to a source URL. We already have a security certificate installed for that URL, and find Vim. Is it there? Yes. Then send it here and download it. So in this case, we're doing something similar. Right now, Okay, Sublime is a third party, not really related with Linux, with Ubuntu. So you're saying, okay, let's add this URL with the security certificate to make sure that when we install Sublime, then it knows where to download it from. And it's used this command called wget. So let's go back to the terminal because I want to know, okay, what is wget? Man wget. So I type in man wget, and it says wget, the non-interactive network downloaded. Okay, they should have just put, I don't know, the best way to download websites or something like that. And it has a lot of options. And the one that we're interested in is, let's see, what does it say? wget-q0, I think it's a 0. Let's see. Q, okay, so it's right here. -q means quiet. It says turn off wget output. And I think, I'm not sure if that's a 0 or an O. So let's type in Q for now. Let's go back in here because we're running out of time. Okay, so it says wget-q. I think it's a 0, Q0, but you see there's another dash, So this is doing something,
Tom, you don't have a hard stop. I mean, we put it at that, but you can complete whatever you're doing, so there's no hard stop.
Okay, thanks. So let's, for now, so remember that I strongly do not recommend that you copy paste something that you don't understand, okay? But for now, just for now, we're just gonna do that. Copy. So to paste it into the terminal, something very important is that you cannot use Control-C and Control-V in the terminal. Okay? You have to add something else. You have to do Control-Shift-V and Control-Shift-C to be able to copy paste. Okay? Control-Shift-V. That's what I did right now. So if you type in, let's see what happens if you just type in Control-V. Control-V didn't do anything. Like I just did Control-V, didn't do anything at all. And when I tried to go backspace, it gave me this like hat question mark. So that didn't work. So to be able to paste, Control-Shift-V, I mean V as in Virginia, right? So let me see if I type this incorrect. That's everything that is asking me? Yes. Okay, so let me type enter.
Tom, quick question. How do I get out of the text editor where we were doing awesome.txt with first name, last name, a CSV file?
Hey, that's the most that's the top question in Stack Overflow. Everybody says the same thing. How do I get out of this program? To get out, you have to type in your keyboard. What is it called? :Q. :Q. Okay. Try that. If you are in insert mode, which it should say because it says insert. If you are in insert mode, you have to first you have to hit escape, and then you have to type in : and the letter Q, and you should be able to get out. If you have some content already in the file and you didn't save the file, if you want to get out without saving, you have to type in : Q and exclamation point. All right. So okay, let me see what I did here. So I added the source of where the program is. wget has the URL and all of these weird stuff. And when I hit enter, well, at least it told me something. It said, okay, what is the next step? It says right here, ensure APT is set up to work with HTTPS resources. It says right here, sudo apt-get install apt transport HTTPS. So let me do that for now. But let me see. I mean, I want to know how to use apt-get install. Let me just look at the man page really quickly. Apt-get, but okay. Let me see. Apt-get. apt-get, it says apt package handling utility, command line interface. And it has all of these, information of what that is. So it's apt-get. And is installed as sort of like a subcommand of apt-get. Look, it says right here. Install is followed by one or more packages desired for installation or upgrade. Okay, so that means that the correct usage of this command is apt-get and then the word install and then whatever goes after. So hit Q to get out. So that means that I need to type the whole thing. I need to type sudo and I have to ask root, hey root, give me access so I can install a program. I need to call apt-get, which is like a package manager, and it has to be followed by install because that's like the subcommand. And then it's like telling me to do this, right? So let's do that to see what happens. So let me do copy here, and then go to the terminal, and then remember that it's Control-Shift-V, otherwise it won't paste. Enter, okay, it's doing something. And so you see, I don't know if you noticed this, but it didn't ask me for my password. Like before when I type in sudo and I type in something, I think was sudo apt install v, it asked me for my password and I have to enter my password. But in this time, it didn't ask me for that. So you know what happened? So one day I couldn't sleep at night and I thought, why is that? And I had to look it up. I don't know, I'm like so geek. And I had to look it up and I was like, why is but it was really hard to find the answer. Like, why does sudo doesn't ask me for the password the second time? So what I found was that when you use that command sudo and you enter the password the first time, it has a timing. It has a timer, like 15 minutes, something like that. So it has a timer of like 15 minutes. So you can type in sudo again without asking for your password. But when that timer is done, then you have to enter your password. So, okay, let me see. Select the channel to use. Stable. Yeah, we want to use a stable one. We don't want to use the in development mode. Excuse me. Okay, so look at this one. This one has a different command. It says this, echo, and it has question mark, and it has dep, and it has a URL, followed by a space and something else, and a question mark, and it has a pipe, and it has sudo, and it has T, and it has, this is like a lot of stuff. This is a lot of different things that we don't know. So let me look this up really quickly in the man page. So let's do the first one, echo. What is echo? Man echo. It says display a line of text. Okay. Yeah, this stuff is very cryptic, right? Like echo displaying a line of text. What the heck does that mean? I have no idea. I'm still confused. Displaying a line of text. I have no idea what that means. Okay, quit. The next one was echo, and it has this in question mark, in double quotes. So maybe, let me see if there's an example for that in the man page. Maybe I didn't see it. Man echo again. Yeah. No, it doesn't have anything. No examples. Thank you. Let me see. Okay, so it doesn't have that either. No, there's info. Okay, info. Info is like another documentation. Echo this one is better. This one says echo writes each given string to standard output with a space between each and a new line after the last one. And this one doesn't go down with my keyboard, so I have to use the arrow. It's let me see. I wanna see like a quick example of that. If there's an example here, which I don't know. It doesn't. No example. Okay, whatever. Okay, echo. I'm still confused about echo. There's a pipe here. Okay, so a pipe. This is very important. We need to learn this right now before we go to sleep. The pipe command. Input and output. Okay. So let me see if you can see it here. Okay, so you have input, and then you have output. So all systems of a computer, they have an input and an output. This is why I don't know if you ever noticed this. Whenever you turn on your anything, it has a line like this, and it has a 0, or it looks like an O, right? So everything that you turn on or off, it has an I/O. That means input and output, right? So input and output is, what is the input of the screen? I'm typing something right now. So the input is the keyboard, okay? And I'm typing letters into a keyboard. And the output is the screen, okay? So I'm sending data from one place to another. So say input is keyboard and the output is the screen, okay? And somehow, magically behind the scenes, these keys, these words are displayed into a screen. In this case, it's Sublime text, okay? So how does that work? How does it send that information there? So in code, in Linux, and in a lot of programming languages, the way to send the input of one thing to the output of another one is with some symbols, okay? The first symbol that I'm gonna teach you is the greater than sign. Okay, this is the one greater than sign. This greater than sign means add to a file. Add to a file. And I'm gonna tell you what that means. So just for now, just think about that. One greater than sign means add to a file. That's it. Two greater than signs means append to a file. And I'm gonna show you the example using the Linux. Okay. So add to a file is one greater than sign. Two greater than signs, append to a file. Okay. And the other one is the pipe. So this is a vertical line which it's on the keyboard. Usually it's on the right side under the backspace. It's just a vertical line. This is called the pipe symbol. Pipe. Okay. So the pipe helps you send the input of one place to the output of another place. And I'm gonna give you an example with what is it? Something we're following here. This one right here. You see? There's a pipe symbol right here. What is this for? Okay. What is my Sublime? Okay. So add to a file, append to a file, and the output and the pipe. Okay. And we're gonna finish with that tonight. So let's finish installing Sublime into Linux, but let's look at the example of that greater than sign. So let me see. I had that file here, right? Awesome.txt. Let's see. Echo. I want to use echo because I want to understand what echo means. Let's do something. Let's do echo and let's do hola. And oh, look, it did something. When I type in echo and I put in double quotes hola, it gave me hola again. Okay. What happens if I just type in like this? Okay, same. What happens if I type in 1, 2, 3? What about in double quotes? 2, 3. Same. So it looks like it's sending the input. The input is 1, 2, 3, and sending it to a screen. Okay, so input and output. Okay. So echo. So that means that. Okay, let me see. I have this file called awesome.txt. Okay. If I want to open that file without having it to open in Sublime or in a Vim editor, I can show the contents of that file and send it to a screen. Okay. So what I mean by that is this. I'm going to show you something. Okay. Input and output. Remember, right? So input is I'm using this command called cat, and the input is this file. And I want to send the contents. I want to open the file and put the contents into the screen. Okay. So when I type in enter, you see it's showing me the contents of the screen. Okay. So I have something in here that this input and output, the proper terminology of this is standard. I'm gonna call it like this: standard input and standard output. Okay. Standard input, standard output. The terminology for this is called std in, and this one is called std out. Okay, we're almost done. So standard input, std in, standard output, std out. Okay, so here I'm saying, okay, take this, use this command called cat that you don't know what it means right now, but take this cat, use this cat command, and they use as input this file and print it into the standard output. Okay, the standard output right now is just a screen. That's what it's doing right now. So let me see what cat is. I'm gonna type in mancat, which that sounds funny when I say it. Mancat. like Manimal. I don't know if you know what Manimal is. Okay, mancat. Cat says right here, concatenate files and print on the standard output. You see, very cryptic again, like who wrote this thing? Concatenate files and print on the standard output. Like what the heck does this mean? So concatenate. Concatenate means that to me is take a file, open it, open the file, and put the contents into the standard output. But the standard output is the screen. Okay, the standard output is always going to be a screen. The screen is this. Right now it's terminal. So if I type in cat, awesome, take the file, print it to the standard output. Standard output is the screen. Done. Okay. But instead of the screen, I can send the data into a file. I don't want to print it into a screen. I want to save it into a new file. Okay. And this file, I want to call it, I don't know, emails. Okay. So I want to use I want to open this file, but I want to save this. I want to save this into another file. And I want to use that greater than sign. Okay. So let me do something first. Okay, so we learned cat. That's not the right one. Mancat. Concatenate files and print on the standard output. The other one was echo, man-echo. This one says display a line of text. Okay. So I want to add a new record under that CSV file. So let me do cat again to print in the standard output. I want to add a new line right under Elon Musk. Okay. So I'm gonna do let's see if this works. Echo. I'm gonna put Tom. This is my last name and this is my email. Let me see if I can type my email correct. Tom Ordnez works at gmail.com and Miami and then double quotes. So let me type in this and see what happens. Nothing is going to happen. The only thing that's going to happen is going to show it on the screen again, which is the standard output. You see, it's the same thing. It didn't do anything else. So to type the same command again, I don't want to type the whole thing again. That's so long. I use the arrows. Okay, so if you hit the arrow, you hit the arrow up, you see, it's going to show me all of the commands that I have typed. So as they like the fastest way to type. So okay, use that one. Echo all that thing and save it. I want to add it to this file called awesome.txt. So I'm going to use the two greater than signs, and I'm going to say, okay, send the output. Don't send the output to the standard output, which is the screen. Send the output to the end of that file called awesome.txt. Okay, so to remember, two greater than signs, and I'm going to type in A and then tab because I don't want to type the whole thing, and hit enter and see what happens. Okay, so it didn't send Tom Ordnez, blah, blah. It didn't send it to the screen. When I typed in enter, it looks like it didn't do anything. So usually what that means is that it worked. So let me see what that means. What worked? So let me use the command cat again to print the contents of that file again, cat awesome.txt. So you see it added that text to the end of that file. Okay? So I use echo, double quotes, all of the line, two greater than signs, and I typed in the name of the file, awesome.txt, and it added the content to that file. Okay? So two greater than signs means, again, it says append to a file. Okay? So append to a file means save it to a file, but save it at the end of the file. Okay? But one greater than sign means replace the contents of that file. Okay? And I want to give you the example. Right now, I'm going to use another command called copy. So let me, and it's CP. So let's see what, let's look at the man page. Man CP says this one is straightforward. CP means copy files and directories. Okay, it's okay. And I want to copy this file so I don't mess up this file. So I'm going to say copy CP awesome, and I'm just going to call this like a temporal file. Let's call it awesome copy. And now if I type in ls, it's going to show me that I have two files. The second file, awesome copy, is a copy of the same file. So if I type in cat, which is, remember, concatenate and print to standard output. By the way, I memorized it a long time ago, so that's how I know what it means. Concatenate and print to standard output. So cat awesome.txt awesome/copy. So it's the same file. I copy the file. But right now, what I want to do is so let's see what happens when I do that. Let's see what happens when I do echo. I don't know, David Bowie. David at, I'm sure this guy is very traditional, so probably he had an AOL account, and he used to live in New York. And then I'm just going to use one greater than sign, and I'm going to, which means add to a file, is going to take this and save it to a file, but it's going to replace all the contents of that file with this line. And I had that awesome copy. And let me do cat again on that file. So you see, it changed the file, It doesn't have that content anymore. So one greater than sign, what it's doing is replace the content of that file with what I'm sending it in echo. So the input was David Bowie, and the output was awesome copy.txt, and it replaced the contents of that file. So as greater than replaces the content. Two greater than signs, it adds to a file. Okay, so that's very important. And the last one is the pipe symbol. Okay, the pipe symbol, which is this vertical line, which is on the instructions of downloading Sublime. Right here, right? This pipe, what is this pipe doing? This pipe is, and it's hard to, I don't think there's a manual page for that. There's nothing, It's like, hey, dude, like, what happened? Okay. So there's no manual page for just a symbol. It's not going to do anything. But basically, what it's doing, the pipe symbol is sending the input of a command to the output of another command. Okay. I'm going to put it right here. Input and pipe output. Okay. So it's like the interface of the input and the output. Okay. So in this case, let's see what happens when I do this. I'm going to use probably a simple example. There's you know what? I don't know if in Windows, I think you can open the processes of your computer when something gets stuck, and you open I don't know, I forgot what it's called. Like, let me see. I think in Windows it's called, it's not called process. I mean, processes. Is it? No, it's not the process anymore. Anyways, it's like you can see all of the programs that is running in your computer. If something gets stuck, you can click on that program and end that program so you can restart it. So in here, you can use stop. Okay, so let me type man top to see what it says. Top, it says display Linux processes. All right, and it has different options. Something similar can be used with this one. PS, report a snapshot of the current processes. Okay, so what happens if I type in stop? Look, there's something crazy going on here. It's showing me all of the processes, the memory used for each process, who is the user, like Tom right now, or root is using that process. Okay, so like here, it says Firefox. I just saw it there. The second one, it says Firefox, Tom, and I'm using, I don't know how many megabytes. And the process ID is 2671. Okay, to get out from here, type in Q, and I'm out. Okay, but if I just type in PS, it doesn't do anything. I mean, it only shows this. Let me see what happens if I type in PS. Okay. So PS AUX does something else. But let me do something. Top. Let me see if this works. PS house web Firefox. Okay. So I want to know all of the programs that are running the computer, they have what is called a process ID. Okay. So like I'm running right now VirtualBox, I'm running Firefox, I'm running Sublime, I'm running, I don't know what else I have open there. And so all of these things are loaded into RAM memory, and RAM memory says like, hey, this is your ticket. When you're done, I'm going to give me a ticket and I'll throw it away, okay? So in this case, Firefox goes there and goes to the RAM memory and says, okay, I want to use your RAM. And then, excuse me, and then it says, okay, Mr. Firefox, here's your ticket, 3781. Don't lose it. And okay, so I'm using it. And when you're done, you're done. But if Firefox gets stuck there, hey, I'm not paying rent, and hey, man, you need to get out. So give me your ticket, and then I grab it from you. It's like, I don't know, that's like a stupid example. But then, this process ID, 3781, sometimes Firefox or Chrome gets stuck or something gets stuck, and I need to get rid, like close this program, so I need to kill that process ID. I don't like using this command, but let's see, kill. It says send a signal to a process. Okay, send a signal to a process. So when I type in kill and the process ID, it kills that process, and it's sort of like it closes Firefox. Okay, but to be able to find that process ID, what I did is PSAUX grep Firefox. Okay, I think we're falling into a rabbit hole. Okay, this is what I call a rabbit hole. It's like every time you do something new, it's like it takes you to another place that you're like, man, why? How did you get there, man? So let me type in this really quickly. Man PS. PS means report a snapshot of the current processes. And I type in AUX, and AUX, they have to be in here. Like you see, it says right here. To see every process on the system, PS, AX, or AXU. It shows you like the different combinations of commands. But I only want to find the command. I only want to find the process ID for Firefox. Okay. So for now, let's just keep this for granted. Let's say that we know what it is. PS AUX is going to give me all of the process IDs of all of the programs that are running in the computer. Okay. But I want to filter this. Like, how do I scroll up? It's like, okay, let me see. Scroll up. Firefox. I I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't see it. It's too much information. PSAUX. I'm going to use the pipe symbol, okay? So remember input and output. Input is PSAUX. It's going to print all of this into a standard output. The standard output is the screen. So all of this information is in the standard output, okay? But I want to send that data, that input to something else. I want to send that input to another command called grep. And grep is, what is grep? Grep means print lines matching a pattern, okay? Print lines matching a pattern. What is the pattern? Oopsie. Oh, man. I closed it. I closed the terminal. Okay. Man grep. What was man grep? Print lines matching a pattern. Okay. So the pattern is Firefox. I want the command to find the word Firefox. To what? Like where? On this output. Okay. From all of these, I want to send that data into the command called grep, and I want to find the word Firefox. Only give me those lines. So PS AUX pipe grep Firefox, and that's what it's doing, right? So send me all of that data, like filter it through this pipe, use the command grep, which is going to find the pattern, which basically is just going to find the word Firefox, and I'm there. Okay. So I'm almost done. So let me do this. That's command here.
Hey Tom, real quick, when I hit Control Shift Copy or Control Shift C, I end up getting at the bottom some sort of inspector console debugger performance memory network.
What is it? You type in what?
When I try to hit Control Shift and C to copy the line, at the bottom I get something that opens up that says inspector console.
You're copying it from where?
Control C.
Yeah, if you are here, like if you are in the browser, this is normal. Like you type in this Control C.
It's just Control C, not Control anything else. Control C.
Yeah, only the terminal is the Control Shift C and B. Like outside is like regular, Control C and B. Okay, so we looked at this command, right? Echo, that is doing something. So it looks like it's sending this. Look, echo is take all of this content and use this pipe to send the output of whatever that is to this command. So let's do that to see what happens. Control C in here, and here is that we have to use Control Shift B. Password, Tom. Okay, so, now what? We did that. It looks like it worked. Select the channel to use, stable. What is it done? Install, ensure APT, select the channel to use. Okay. I think I need something. No, right here. Update app sources and install Sublime text. Okay, it says right here. Sudo apt-get update. Okay, I need to follow that. Sudo apt-get update. Okay. You know what? I think, okay, no, it's done. Look, sudo apt-get update. Now I need to install Sublime. How do I install Sublime? It says right here. Sudo apt-get install Sublime text. Let's see. Control Shift B. Doing something. Almost done. I think it looks like it's done. Where is this installed? Can you search for this? Type in Sublime. So, look, I think we installed it. Oh, yeah. That's it, right? This is easy, right? Hello. Can you hear me? That's it. I think that's it. I think that's it for now. I think we covered a lot of things, a lot of information. Try to get all of this information cooking your brain a little bit, and then we can contact me on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn as Tom Ordnez. I'm the only one with my name. If you have any questions or otherwise, you can send me an email. My email is, what's my email? Tom Ordnez works@gmail.com. Tom Ordnez works@gmail.com. Send me a chat, and if you need help with something, let me know, and I can try to troubleshoot it to get you up to speed here. I think the next week we're going to cover something related with connecting to a Twitter API, but you'll need to have already all of this Linux knowledge to be able to get files and interact with the files, and redirection, input, output, greater than sign, pipe, all of this stuff is there in that webinar. That's it.
Well, I hope everybody. I hope everybody found this useful, and I think this was a much easier class than some of us have seen in other times. And you definitely want to go back and play with this and practice this. And like I said, drop Tom a note, or me, or Glenn, if you're having any problems. We'll certainly try to help anybody we can. It's just a matter of timing, and just ask your questions, and if we don't know, we'll source it with each other. This recording will be available probably in the next couple hours. I'll make sure that, Tom, you have a copy. I'll put one on the Sources with Code page, and I would assume, Tom, we have your permission to share it.
Yeah, sure. I'll try to record some videos, but it depends on what you want to learn. I can try to break this down into smaller pieces of like chunks of knowledge, because it can get, like I mentioned, once you start looking at a different command and it shows something else, and you fall into an endless rabbit hole of information and you don't know how to get out.
Definitely. And, you know, having the video, people can go back and look at this and stop and start it there. But I'm going to stop the recording now. So if anybody has any other questions, feel free to ask Tom before we end this.